Hey guys, welcome back. So, all right, we've talked about suspension. We've talked about replacing the sprocket or sprockets. I just went with the front sprocket. In hindsight, I'd prefer to do the rear sprocket next time. It's a little more work on the front end, but I think it'd be better in the long term. If you take one tooth down in the front, it's equal to 3 teeth up in the back. All right, so this video, we're talking about increasing airflow. Everybody and their brother that gets a KLX talks about doing stage 1 mod, and some people might laugh like, stage 1 mod, that's silly, haha. But I'm a stats guy. If I do it, I've researched it, I've checked the dyno charts, all that kind of thing. So by opening up the airflow on this and removing that secondary throttle plate, you'll gain 6 horsepower in the mid-range. And that's stats, that's fact. So if people contest it, they're just not looking in the right place to find the numbers, because the numbers exist. All right, so what I did is first you pop off the seat, you take out your snorkel, because it restricts it from about 1.5 inch opening and about 3.5 inches across to a 1/2 inch opening. And you know, when you add up both sides, you can see it. You're losing a major amount of airflow. So that guy goes away. Then, because you are exposing your air filter more, I removed it and used some foam air filter oil, soaked it down really nice. Adam Ryman talks about that. It's like, you can never have too much oil on your air filter. If your bike's not dripping a little oil, then you haven't put enough oil on your air filter. So that's that. So now that's protected. I'm gonna keep this in my backpack. I don't expect myself to ever be doing deep river crossings where the water's lapping up to like the seat. That's just not realistic. Most of us are gonna maybe have water lapping up on our brake rotors, you know? So I'm not worried about water coming in through the top. So that's what I did on the front. On the back, I removed the heat shields. I have 2 on my bike because I have saddlebags for it. Panniers, if that's what you want to call them. And I put 2.5 inch slits, 2.5 inches, 4 of them, just to get some extra airflow out. I didn't open up the back end just because I don't want the extra attention and conversation. So I just did it under there quietly. You could put a new slip-on muffler if you want. They're anywhere from $2 to as much as you want to spend, $100. You're going to gain 1 horsepower and your bike's going to be loud. So if you like that, great. I'm a little bit more of a less attention is better kind of guy. So I liked the little extra noise, but I don't want my bike screaming all over the place. You know, I got enough of that around my house to begin with. So that's that on the back. Your secondary throttle plate is right behind this section of framing. There's a boot right here, has 2 clamps on it. You'll have to loosen those. 1 screw access from here, 1 is from the other side. The screws are fairly easy to get at. The boot is easy to take off. It's a bit of a challenge to put back on, especially if you've got big beefy hands. I wear a size large glove. It was tough, but I got it. You know, if you get frustrated, just take a break, put a little soap on there so it slides on easy. Putting the back on first was easier for me. But before you get to that, the secondary throttle plate, it's right in there inside the tube. Like I said, there's videos. I'm just walking you through what I did. Everyone makes it sound like that screw comes out very easily. It doesn't. Some bikes it does, most bikes it doesn't. To avoid stripping the screw, try to have as much direct contact on the screw head as you can, and just do little tiny turns like 3 degrees. If you're not sure, look at a clock. It's 3 seconds, tick, 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 not very far. And just take your time, little by little. If your hands get tired, take a break. It will come out. At the end, mine was stripped and I had to use a needle nose, but I took my time, I was patient, and I got it out. You will notice a huge difference. Reason being, the ECU, which is the computer, stored over here. It's right there. So you gotta take the plate off to see it, but it's there, trust me. It's programmed to keep that secondary throttle plate 40% closed until the bike reaches 7,000 RPM. Once it hits 7,000, it'll open it up and let the bike breathe. And that's why you gain the extra 6 horsepower. So now here's the thing though, with all that extra airflow, the computer monitors fuel flow, timing, all that kind of thing. Some people will say you don't need to flash the ECU. My thought is if it gives me better fuel mixture ratios, more fuel is more power, and you don't want to run a bike lean. It's hard on the engine. So it's $300 upgrade. I think it's well worth it. In the lifetime of owning a bike, are you gonna miss $300 5 years from now? No. Do you have to buy replacement parts for your engine because it ran too hot for too long? It's gonna be way more expensive. So that's it. Open up the airflow through the air filter box. Maybe replace your muffler, or just open up your muffler a little like I did. Get rid of that secondary throttle plate, and then have the ECU flashed. That's the only thing that costs you money. So that mod's $300, and you'll notice a significant difference in performance. Some people say they don't notice much of a difference. I find that hard to believe. This thing went from, having to really work the clutch and your technique to stand it up. So you still need good technique, but now it stands up pretty easily if you want. So if you just want to do wheelies for fun, great. But they're also helpful for getting over obstacles like logs, potholes, that kind of thing. So hope that was helpful. See you guys next time.